So first off, I want to say welcome to everybody that's coming to watch this video so that we can unite together and awaken together as a human species to be custodians of the earth and take much better care of her and take much better care of each other. Many civilizations around the globe, many of those who have kept the traditions, the plant medicine traditions, the sacred traditions and connection to nature, has told us about prophecies of this coming age, this transformation that we are in, the shift of the consciousness on Earth. And one of them is stated, as you could read yourself, but I'm going to go through it. There will come a day when people of all races, colors, and creeds will put aside their differences. They will come together in love, joining hands in unification to heal the earth and all her children. They will move over the earth like a great whirling rainbow, bringing peace, understanding, and healing everywhere they go. All living things will flourish, drawing sustenance from the breast of our mother, the earth. The great spiritual teachers who walked the earth and taught the basics of the truth of the whirling rainbow prophecy will return and walk amongst us once more, sharing their power and understanding with all. We will learn how to see and hear in a sacred manner. Men and women will be equals in the way Creator intended them to be. All children will be safe anywhere they want to go. Elders will be respected and valued for their contribution to life. Their wisdom will be sought out. The whole human race will be called a people, and there will be no more war, sickness, and hunger forever. And this is just one of the prophecies that we hear of, but most of them are very similar. And there seem to be interpretations of visions they've had in their shamanic work of the future. And they usually convey that we will awaken to a more peaceful existence. Even though it might not look like it today, for many people all around the world who are going through confusion and a lot of changes that might not seem that positive at first glance. It's part of a birthing process where we are being born again, and that can be a painful process. But if we trust our hearts and if we trust in spirit, we will come through this and create a much better world. I have no doubt in my heart that this will happen, this will come true, and we will create a paradise on earth. But it will also require us to do some work. It will require us to do some inner work and some physical work. But not so much, really. If everyone comes along, it's very easy, it's very simple. And I'm going to go through now some of the steps that we can take as individuals and as civilizations. So what is a holistically healthy society? If you look at this picture, it's a beautiful picture of a city that's overgrown with flourishing foods and plants and flowers. And you have renewable energies and a lot of cool concepts. And you have the people gathering in the square, dancing. And it looks like a very beautiful dream. This might be something we can create. Of course it is. What are the characteristics of a holistically healthy society? I have found in my practice, in my journey, and there might be more than what I can list here, and there might be a simpler way to say it, but this is something I've spent many years to figure out. So let's go in. Number one is all necessary resources are easily available for everyone. And here we can also draw some inspiration from the Venus project, which looks at how we can create a resource-based economy. And I would suggest to look into that if you're interested. Number 2 is that the fundamental human needs are met for everyone. Those two go hand in hand very neatly, but it's important to mention both. And the fundamental human needs are the 7 physical human needs that we have found is you have to have clean air, clean water, clean nourishment, sunlight, grounding, movement, and rest. And then you have the more emotional needs as well. So that you can go into in a different webinar. All food and products are clean, safe, and natural, hopefully local and organic. And if we can grow food in our own gardens or support permaculture in our local environments, that is some of the best ways we can do this. All industry and production is sustainable and natural. This means a pretty large shift in how we produce and where we spend our money. That the fastest way for this to shift is that the consumer or the customer starts to buy from those companies that are actually doing sustainable work and taking care of all its employees and taking care of nature. And putting pressure on those companies that are in place already, also the bigger companies. But yeah, the more we can shift this to local and yeah, more humane ways to do things, the better. And you have the power there. Everyone who buys something has the power. So spend that power well. The cities are filled with food landscapes and vegetation. And you see some examples here in the previous picture. And of course, this is something that the city, all the people in the city has to be working on together. But yeah, everyone who has land can do this. Everyone who has land can grow their own food and make sure it's green and lush. Optimal health is achievable for all. It means the resources and help and the right knowledge of natural medicines is available to all. And the majority of the people have balanced body, mind, and spirit. And this is one of the places where we have a lot of work to do, but we will definitely make it. In time, we will be able to heal all the physical and mental illnesses that we see in the modern world today. You balancing and healing yourself first is the most important thing. And then when you've done that, you can start to help others. A healthy and balanced growth of economy and sharing. This is something that's really important, and that we have equality. Share the resources, like a resource-based economy. Nature and technology develops in harmony, where nature leads the way. And of course, this is basic stuff. Sustained harmony between people, animals, and nature. And this is something that we do both in giving ourselves and each other the freedom to be whoever they want to be, freedom to do what they want with their own body and their own minds and their own lives. That no people tell other people what they should or should not do or police each other. Their freedom is is the most important thing. And with freedom, we start to also care more of what's around us, because if I need to be free, then I need to let everyone else be free as well. And the same goes with animals and nature. The soil, the earth, the water, and the air is clean and sacred. This is very, very important. Should be actually one of the first ones on the list, but it's here. And this is with organic farming, making sure that we clean the water, making sure that we keep the air clean. This is all of our daily choices. And keeping it sacred means that we are grateful for it. It's something that we care about. It's something that we value. And we will make sure that it stays clean for the next 7 generations at least. So making sure that we have our own lands are clean, our own hands are clean, our own bodies are clean, and yeah, spread that knowledge, spread that wisdom, and the deeper we go into that connection and that sacred connection of gratefulness, the more healing we will feel in our bodies, the better we will feel, the more life-giving it becomes. The people gather around the sacred fire, guided by its wisdom. This is something the ancient cultures, the tribes around the world has remembered. They work with the plant medicines around the fire. They connect with the fire and get their wisdom and get energy from that in connection, a sacred circle where no one is above you, no one is below you, no one is behind you. So we are all equal around the sacred fire. This is very important. Family is sacred and protected by support groups and communities. Balanced respect between the sacred masculine and the feminine. Co-creation fosters creative expression and love. Healthy personal growth and spiritual self-realization. Honesty and integrity are strong values that guides the people. Fundamental human rights are sustained by all groups, all communities. Now, this might seem like a utopia for many, but all of these characteristics come naturally with high intelligence. And when we balance our body, mind, and spirit, this happens by itself. This is natural within us to honor these, to care about the people around us and the environment around us, and to care about our own health, and to be able to connect with our intuition and take the choices that are good for us and good for the world. This is natural. And we have lived in a society that forgot this knowledge, this wisdom. And as we decondition, as we cleanse our bodies, cleanse our minds, remove limiting belief systems, we come in connection with this sacred spirit, this sacred knowledge. And we are on our way towards this faster than we think. Much, much faster. Might not seem that way when you look out in the media, but this is happening really, really all over the world. And it's a powerful movement that's going to make life much more sustainable, create a paradise on earth. So the more you work on your own healing and your family's healing and the healing of your land, the faster this goes. And we are coming home to what is sacred. So then we naturally come to some of the values in a holistically healthy society. And nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, but we must do our best to align ourselves with this way of living. And one of the things that they found is that if you put all the letters in I respect all into different words that we can keep close to our hearts and work on in our own lives, it becomes this parable. It's beautiful. It goes like this. I is for integrity, honesty. It means that I do what I say I'm supposed to do to the best of my ability. I do my best. I keep my word. And I care. I care about the world around me, and I care about myself. So I will do what is best for everyone. R is for responsibility. I have a responsibility to do this. I have a responsibility to make sure that I take care of both myself and those around me. Empathy, as I open myself up to feel both more of my own emotions and feel the people around me. What is actually going on? What are we actually, why are we here? What do we need? S is for sustainability. Can it continue for a long time? Can it continue for the future, the long haul, the next 7 generations and onwards? Can my actions continue like this? Is it building life? Is it sustaining life? Is it sustaining something that is worth valuing, something that we want to see in the world? Peace for peace. Do I have peace in my own heart? Do I have peace in my own mind? Can I connect to the peace that is already present in nature and in the universe? Can I convey that peace to others? Can I share that peace with the world? Hopefully more and more. E is for equality or equity. This means that we are all one. No one is more important. No one is more valued than others. It is all equally valued. We're all the same. Doesn't matter what you look like. Doesn't matter if you make mistakes or if your skills are not equal to anybody else's. You're unique and you're needed in this world. You have special gifts. But we are all the same. We are all spirit. And if we are able to see each other as that, as souls, then we can welcome each other to actually do some good, to co-create. Then all the hierarchy system goes away. We become a community where we actually work together. That's a beautiful vision. C is for community. It means that we support each other. We work together. We come together to actually create. And we support each other. T is for trust. I need to first trust myself. And if I can trust myself, then I can trust others. And if I can trust others, I can trust that I'm taken care of. Someone holds me if I fall. I can trust that Others will do what is best for all. I can trust that we will do the best we can. I can trust that people want the best for the coming generations and for nature. And when it's built on that trust, it grows and becomes this harmonic symphony where everything harmoniously works together. This is something we need to work on, but we are getting there. And it comes back to integrity. If I can keep my integrity, be honest with myself and honest with others about what I need, what I expect, and what I value, we can be honest about what we truly want. What is that we're able to do? And then we can build each other up. Because I know that you are my brother and sister, and I am yours. A is for ability. I do the best that I can to my ability, and that's good enough. L is for laws of nature. It means that I understand the laws of nature, and I am sovereign. Sovereign means you are free. And we're going to go into this afterwards, so we'll jump to the next one, the last one. Love. This is the glue. This is what keeps everything together. This is where everything comes from. This is what sustains us. This is why we're here. And it's beautiful, beautiful when we can open ourselves to love completely. It takes time. For some, it takes time to heal. But this is why when we keep ourselves to these values and work to create a holistically healthy environment, the healing comes much faster. So what is needed for a healthy society to become a reality? And the most important resource is the human health. If we have our health, we have energy, we have workforce, we have creativity, clear thinking, and we have care and love. A good foundation for a healthy society has 4 pillars. Number 1 is available resources, goods, hopefully organic and local. Natural medicines. Number 2 is truthful information. That's research, knowledge, everything we can find that is truthful about the goods that we are using. And healing methods, healing ways to heal ourselves. That is working for others. And that is proven to work. And here comes back to trust and integrity. Truth is something that we know in our hearts, in our intuition. And the more we heal ourselves, the more connected we are to our intuition. And the more we're able to see what is true and find truth everywhere. And love. Love is the truth. You are that love. That's what we all want, really. Safe and fertile environments. Now, this is both online and in physical form. We need to have healing spaces, both in nature and in the city, where people can come together in groups or alone and feel safe and heal whatever they need to heal. So the more places and groups, resources, and knowledge that is available, the better we are. And one of the most important things is care and love. That is the medicine. People with heart, people who have healed themselves or gotten healing, and is able to share that onwards, to convey what worked to others, and to keep the space, hold space for others, and keep their own integrity and their own peace, their own center, and their own love in their own hearts as they do this work. That's very, very important. So we must all support each other. But these 4 pillars is fundamental to creating a holistically healthy society. And it's also built upon natural law. And when we come back to natural law, we're not talking about the political laws. We're not talking about any laws that are in any country. This is something that comes from nature. It's something that our intuition knows. It's logical. It's something that feels true in the deepest parts of our soul, in the deepest parts of our heart. What we've found is that we must do our best in living in harmony with natural law and truth. And one is that every person has sovereignty over their own body and life. What does that really mean? It means that you can do whatever you like to do with your own body, mind, and life. No one else has any power over you unless you give it. And what we have done is give it away unconsciously because we believed in someone's lies. We believed in a politician's lies. We believed in some ruler's lives. But we are truly sovereign. We were born to be sovereign. And if you are true to yourself, what is good for you, you know you will never step over that boundary with someone else, to the best of your ability, to the best of your consciousness. And we become more gentle with ourselves and others. All beings are equally valuable and free. It means that no one is more important. No one is more entitled. This is very, very important to learn. Because we are one. We are one spirit. We are that consciousness, the original consciousness that created everything. And when we know this, when we truly know this as a species, then we're free. And that means also harm, force, abuse, or theft onto others against their will is not allowed. If you do so, you immediately remove your own free will. Because what you do unto others, you do unto yourself. And there's always consequences, even though it might not seem that way in the present moment. So if we honor these natural laws, we will be able to create a beautiful, beautiful paradise on earth. We're getting there. We've explored some pretty weird stories throughout our thousands of years on this planet. But now we're coming into a new age. Now we're coming into a more conscious, awake age. And I come back to all the prophecies saying the same. And I truly believe that. I truly believe we are coming into an age where we become free, whole, and unified in a more harmonic and peaceful world. So let's do this. Let's come together. So now we come to a little more of the practical stuff. It means that if you live in a country where you have an existing system or in a community with an existing system, what we need to do is make sure that we create a fertile environment, all of the things within ourselves, so that we can make the right choices, and then we can change the existing system. And we're on our way very fast, because you can see in the people that they are fed up with all the political lies and the system that isn't able to actually do anything, just keeping the hierarchical bullshit system up. So all change comes from the people, from the ground up, the grassroots. And we are many. So this is going to be really fun. And number one is to introduce a direct democracy. This is an active voting system. It means that the people have the power and every voice can be heard. There's not a small group of people making choices for the public. That's history. Now everyone has a vote. Everyone is equal. And if you can put forth your ideas, if they are good ideas, they will be voted upon. They will get wind behind them and be shared around to everyone. This is common logic. This is an equal system. So one of the most important things you do in any community, in any country, is to gather enough people around to introduce a direct democracy and a good system for this. Then you can start to introduce a lot of new, very positive changes. And you can create an elder council to advise. But it's very important that the people still decide. The elder council must only advise. They cannot make the choice for others. They can put a idea forth, and if that idea is a good idea, the people will vote for it. Simple as that. One of the things that we will probably do, hopefully everywhere, is legalize growing and trading all plants. And where we work with the duty to provide good information. This means all plants, also the medicinal plants, because everyone needs to have access. Number 4 is a conversion to organic agriculture. Regenerative permaculture means that we take care of the soil, we take care of the land. And you can do this by subsidies to local organic growers and everyone who is wanting to create a permaculture environment. And the next thing is banning of harmful chemicals. And when those two things are put into place, is really fast change will come up with the land, so that we make the change over to only natural resources, natural goods, natural foods. This is really, really important. This is also part of healing the water. So to distribute land fairly for those willing to cultivate and care for it. This is something Russia did. Russia was able to sustain themselves with mostly organic food in their own country because millions of small farms were working with regenerative permaculture ways, organic small farms. So this is really important. Number 6 is update water purification systems, both in the cities and everywhere needed. And the piping needs to be natural and sustainable. And if we look at France, Paris has a very good water purification system and distributes that water out to many parts around the city. So they updated the system with a very, very natural and good system. I must say, I'm very impressed with that. So check that out. And if you have a natural mineral rich groundwater. So you don't need to purify that mostly. But it is a good point in checking it out, that it is actually clean. And also make sure that you can sustain it, that you can have enough water for the next 7 generations. That means to gather as much water as you can and channel it through the land. So you use permaculture ways of doing that. Number 7, update sanitation and black water systems. This is very, very important so that we don't contaminate any water, we don't contaminate the land. We're able to recycle it or compost it so that it becomes nutrients for a rich soil. And there are some rules that you need to make sure of that. So check permaculture. Update waste management also in local areas, and same here, recycle and compost. So food waste go to compost, and we make sure that we do this in a good way. If you're not able to do it for your own homestead, then at least make sure that your community or your state implement a good system for this. But the more you can do on a local level, the better it is. This goes for all of these. Equal pay and rights for all. This is a respect between the feminine and the masculine, so that no one is left out, no one is more valuable, all equal. And updated security for all child services. This means this is a community care business. It's not a private business. It's not a government thing, really. It's a family and community care. So it means that this is something that needs to be kept safe and close to the heart. Update school systems for new times and needs. This is something we can learn from the children teach each other. The children learn by way of doing, learn by way of active involvement, and they choose more what they want to learn. And the only thing that we teach them is how to effectively teach themselves. And number 12 is a changing of construction laws so that it enables the people to build much more, build their own houses and build their own community centers, so that it doesn't have to go through the paper mills of all possible governmental programs. It has to be to certain standards, of course, but it needs to be a much faster and easier way to get approval for buildings. Then we need to change the tax and banking systems to serve the people. It means that the banking systems cannot be privately owned. It cannot be a profit place. It has to be created for the people so that it actually is a fair system that does not enslave people. And then you change the tax system so that none of the tax dollars goes to anything harmful. It will only be to support the people and the land. And then to create a law where projects over a certain size must have the people's approval. This is very important. Companies over a certain size becomes the people's ownership and gives subsidies to all the people. It means that when you get to monopolies and really big businesses, it cannot be privately owned. Now, this is a big change, very big change. But this is going to make sure that it works for the people, not private interest. Then we need to stop all weapon production and repurpose military to aid and clean up. Aid and clean up locally, mostly. But of course, if our military has been doing damage in other countries, then we need to clean up that mess as well. So this is something very important. And we need to shift our economic support to sustainable energy solutions as fast as possible. And no, this is, a lot of people want this to happen, and our governments need to get on board on this. And if we are a direct democracy, then we, the people, are the government, and then we can make the changes much faster. Number 18, update healthcare system to natural medicines. Very, very important. And then educate doctors on nutrition and plant medicines. Very important. And then sacred plant medicines and healing traditions are protected and honored. And number 20, develop a plan to keep nature and food clean for the next 7 generations. Now, this is the list here, and the previous lists is part of that plan. And there are, of course, details and much more systems that needs to be in place for this to happen, but we already have very good systems. So it's not actually so much about that. It's more about making the choice and saying as people, let's do it. Getting to work and just doing the thing. It's as easy as that. And yes, it's going to be an enjoyable process. We can have a lot of fun on the way here. But we need to get to work. If we want to create a world that's worthy of the next generations and our children and their children's children. If we want to create a safe world where our next generations can live peacefully, we have work to do. And it's going to be fun. Permaculture is a very good design tool that we can use to make local changes. And it's about earth care, people care, and fair share. So this is a lot about what we have been going through in this presentation. And there are some steps that they use here to make sure that this is a good, sustainable system. And number 1 is you start to observe and interact. And you go out to the land and you look at how things work and how nature is doing things and how the land is set up and how the sun is moving, so that you know how to put everything in place so that the energy is caught and stored, which is number 2. And then number 3 is obtain a yield. That means you grow organically, and you grow in a way that the land can keep on producing, that the soil is being enriched more, and you keep on producing more and more food for the next generations to come. And it's just going to get more and more rich, and the work is going to get less, because you're going to have plants that give a yield every year and more yield every year, and that keep on giving. And then number 4 is apply self-regulation and accept feedback. This is also accept feedback from the community, from the natural world. If you can connect with the natural world, it's one of the most giving things you can do, and it's beautiful. And to also, always be open to learn new things, so that you can create a more effective system in harmony with the land. So number 5 is use and value renewable resources and services. Pretty easy one. Produce no waste. It means you recycle and reuse, and make sure that everything goes to a useful purpose. And number 7 is design from patterns to details. Here's how we look at nature. When we look at nature, there's a lot of patterns to go, the fractals of nature. And there are ways of doing things that are more effective, and ways of doing things that go more harmoniously with each other. It's like also planting different plants together so that you keep the pests away. And there are lots of ways that you can figure out that works here. And if you go into permaculture, you will learn a lot of ways that are working all around the world. Integrate rather than segregate. It means to solve also the solutions locally. Use small and slow solutions. Same thought. The more locally you can fix a problem, the easier it gets, and the faster you can do it, the more simple it is. Use and value diversity. Means that nature is diverse. You have lots of different plants, lots of different animals, wild plants together with the native plants that grow for food. And when you do that in the right way, it becomes this abundant oasis that takes care of itself. Number 11, use edges and value the marginal. It means all of the small spots that are unused can be used for something good. Creatively use and respond to change. That means always learn again and again and go through the same cycle and observe and interact again. You start with number 1 and you continue. There's always something new to learn, and there's always a more harmonious and effective way that nature has found to do things, and we just need to open our eyes, open our hearts to connect with the land.